Hello, my nasties. Welcome back to another vlog. This is going to be a chatty, worky vlog, as per usual. I have decided to just go ahead and take the rest of the year off of YouTube. Now, what I mean by that is I will not be flat out disappearing the way that I did for the bulk of this year. But just as I started getting back into the groove of what used to be my routine, I realized, you know what? I can't go back to my old routine. A lot of things have changed. A lot of things have shifted around. I've had to adapt. And here comes, of course, a helicopter. They're coming for me. No. So if you hear that in the background, excuse me. But anyhow, I've had to adapt. I've had to make changes. And in many ways, yes, this year has been shitty. This year has, put a few bumps and bruises on me. But it has also opened a lot of new avenues for me to explore creatively, and they have been wonderful. I pulled back from YouTube, and pulling back allowed me it kind of freed my mind up in a way to dive further into being an artist, right? I finally opened my online store off of Etsy. I started focusing more on my other side quests, which has been wonderful. And I started a new Patreon tier on my Patreon, which is my sticker club. None of this would have been possible had this year not been frankly, the piece of garbage that it has been. The trick is to navigate through the rough waters, because eventually, it could take a day, could take a month, could take a year, but eventually you'll get out of it. And if you navigate the waters properly, you will learn things, you will pick up bits and pieces here along the way that will help you grow as a person, help you grow creatively, etc., etc. Insert all of the good sparkly things. Yeah? So just to say, yes, I'm going to be scarce for the remainder of the year on YouTube, but I'm still highly active. If you follow me on Instagram, I post all the time. And as you will see in this vlog, as you are seeing now, I have been toiling away like mad. So in this vlog, I'm going to be signing art prints, yes, obviously, packaging orders, working on illustrations, Patreon stuff, all of that good stuff. So welcome to another vlog. Hang out with me while I work throughout the course of this week. And yeah, let's hang out. Grab a drink, grab a snack, grab a sketchbook, grab a coloring book. I don't care what you do. Let's just hang out for a little while. All right, let's get on with the vlog. Yes, first thing is first, art prints. I have, 4 or 5 new art prints that are going to be dropping into the shop over the next few weeks. I am not going to drop them all at once. I think that's just overkill. And in this time of me laying low, I've been kind of reevaluating the way that I do things. And you guys know that I'm such a manic hamster. I have so many ideas, okay? And unfortunately, time in the day is finite, and sometimes I get knocked off a little bit. I get knocked off of my course because of things beyond my control. Take today, for instance. I'm sitting here with my cup of coffee, and I napped for a good chunk of the day today because sometimes my monthly girlfriend that comes to visit me, we all love to hate her, right? I just was not feeling it. Ultra super fatigued, super painful. I popped a couple of muscle relaxants, went to sleep. I thought I was going to be okay, but nope, the fatigue was just out of control today. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take it easy. I watched a couple of things on Netflix, dozed off, woke up, did a little bit of work on my iPad for a secret project, which you will be hearing about in a couple of months. And yeah, went back to sleep. And now here I am. It's not too late at night, but of course it is 10 p.m. while I'm sitting down to record this, and I'm pumped full of energy because I've been sleeping for half the goddamn day. So it's going to be another late night. But I've been doing a lot of sketching. This portion that you see right here with that little Day of the Dead girl, that is actually an old clip, but I wanted to include it because I liked it. And I recently released 2 new stickers in my shop, and one of them is this girl. I'm going to insert the photo here, and I'll go ahead and I'll insert both of these stickers. It's this Day of the Dead girl in a lovely glitter finish, and then the companion piece to this one is a stack of Oh, I have the air burpees. I have air bubbles. Oh, swallow it. Okay. She's okay. She's okay. It's look, I put some baby marshmallows in my coffee today and I'm trying to take a drink. And I sucked the coffee in a little bit too much trying to grab a marshmallow, and now I'm like full of air and I have air bubble burpees. Okay. She's okay. She's okay, everybody. I'll edit out any burps if they occur. Okay? But anywho, I am, let's see, where's my notebook? I have a notebook in which I keep a few notes about what I am going to be discussing in this vlog, because right now I'm just showing you a bunch of clips of what I have been up to. Let's see. I guess I don't have much to say in this portion of the vlog, so I'm probably going to speed up these clips, because these clips right here, they are peeks at my ultra super secret, though not so ultra super secret, because it won't be ultra super secret in a couple of months project. But here's a little peeky peek. And yeah, just hanging out in my sketchbook, working. I'm hesitating because I want to tell you a little bit more info about this project, but then I kind of don't. So, you know what? I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to speed up this portion and I'll get back to you in a second. Okay. I've decided to go ahead and give you another little peek at the secret project, because I realized that I have quite a large detail that I left undiscussed at the beginning of the video, and it is a major part in why I have also decided to take a step back. So I feel as though as time passes and the more I voluntarily become more detached from the outside world at large, read reality, right? I'm beginning to realize more and more how unbelievably penetrated by bullshit and just false beliefs and responsibilities are placed on people, at least here in the West, especially in the West, in the quote-unquote advanced and developed world, right? And what I mean by that is, I mean, yes, we are veering into the woo a little bit, but I have learned, as circumstances have forced me to reevaluate things, the way that I do things, the way that I handle things, the way that I navigate quote-unquote reality. I am a control freak, yes. I am a creative, yes. But one of my major struggles in life has been trying to be this manic, weirdo creative, trying to make all of this function in a world that is not designed for that, in a world that is designed to suppress the creativity, the manic energy, because we are conditioned to work for someone else, work, make that money, work, do all of this. And that has never appealed to me. That has never been my ethos. I've never cared about that shit. I've never wanted, a white picket fence, a large house, a fancy car. No, I've always wanted enough to be comfortable, enough to enjoy myself, and I've never wanted for more than that. I don't believe there's a need for that. I'm not a show off. I don't give a shit what the people around me have. It's just, I don't care. I think life is to be lived and to enjoyed. It is not to be dictated by the idea that we need to achieve what is considered societally normal. Okay, and spiritual practices, spiritual beliefs, astrology, all of that, whether you believe in it or not, is irrelevant, because there are actual facts and proven. Okay, I'll just put it this way. If you delve into astrology, if you truly study it, you start to notice patterns that repeat. They say history repeats, yes. And if you look at specifics, you start understanding why. And yes, there are a lot of, BS psychics, BS astrologers out there who do it for the money, do it for the fame and all of that. But if you yourself study it, you understand, you know what? We don't control shit. We can only control ourselves and how we navigate this world and how we feel about it. And all of that to say, all of these grandiose thoughts are to help me segue into discussing the internet situation. One of the major issues that I've been having since I moved out of Palm Springs. See, here's the thing about the desert, guys. You have parts of the desert that are considered quote unquote civilized, hoity-toity, Palm Springs, which love you, you're beautiful, but it is also an illusion. Palm Springs it shouldn't exist. There should not be this much water in the desert. There shouldn't be freaking golf courses out here. There shouldn't be goddamn water parks in the desert, right? None of that should exist. It's all man-made nonsense. It's, man's quest to overtake and control everything. And by men, I don't mean men. I mean humanity as a whole. Because women are they're just as part of the problem too. I know. Fuck the patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Not all the matriarchy is all sweet fun and games either. But again, we're not going to get into the woo here. The point is, once you get out of Palm Springs, things get dicey in terms of services. Cell phone service, internet service, all that kind of thing. And when I moved from basically the heart of Palm Springs, I realized, my internet service providers are not infinite. I have a very limited amount to choose from. And the ones that I choose from are not going to be super great, and they're going to be expensive, in some cases prohibitively expensive. And so because all of the other outside tumultuous stuff was going on, I said, you know what? The internet is not a priority for me right now. And I kind of set that aside, and I told you guys earlier, I'm going to get my internet set up and everything's going to be cool and like da-da-da-da-da. Well, no, it hasn't been that easy. And I said, okay, I can either sign up for an internet that is incredibly expensive and I can just be done with it, or I can use this crazy year, this crazy shift in everything to explore a different kind of lifestyle. And I thought, what if I live with basic internet that would allow me to, watch YouTube videos, listen to music. If I feel like watching Netflix at 2 a.m. while I'm packaging orders, I can do that. But it's going to make upload speeds or uploading very difficult. I will have to travel to a coffee shop or to, anywhere else to upload my stuff because the Wi-Fi is just going to be not good enough. And I've decided this month that I think I'm going to play with that idea for a little while longer. I'm going to force myself out of the house so that I can, out of the bat cave, we'll say, out of my little bubble, because I am becoming a much bigger hermit than I've ever been, and I love it, but also I don't want to completely, we'll say, isolate myself from humanity as a whole. I think it's important to interact, if only to remind myself why I am living the hermity lifestyle that I'm living. You get it? So instead of being locked up in my surroundings all day, I'm going to maybe once a week, once every couple of weeks, starting next year, I'm going to be heading out to a coffee shop to work. Even if it's just to plan my week and upload a couple of videos and then come home, just that, and I'm taking, this is sounding very novel to me because this has never been my life, right? I've always been like a loner, isolated, doing my thing. I've always loved coffee shops. I've always loved that, but I've never worked at a coffee shop. I've never physically said, hey, I'm going to set an appointment for myself during the week to go work at a coffee shop. And normal people do this kind of stuff all the time. It's like Karla's discovering something normal people do that might be beneficial. Yeah. So all of that, this is, you guys are probably laughing at me like, Karla, you're such an ass. Like, so many people do this already. But it's because I think in some bizarre way, my inner monster and the universe at large, I think I'm trying to prepare myself, and the universe is trying to push me into learning how to truly live somewhere that is not convenient. Meaning, I have to drive a little bit further to get to the Target. I have to drive a little bit further to get to the Trader Joe's from where I am right now than where I was. Not too far, but further than where I was. It was literally down the road. Now it's like down the road, around the bend, and down the street a little bit. And I think slowly, baby steps, I'm acclimating myself to living a more rural lifestyle, because I think eventually I want to head deeper into the desert. I know I've touched on this before, but it's like the stepping stones are starting to appear one by one, slowly, slowly, slowly. It's as if the universe is not pushing me to do it yet, but it's prepping me for it, you know? So that's where my mind is right now. And this whole internet thing, I came to that realization where I go, I can do one of two things. I can be one of those people who's just a bludgeon and it's like, you know what? I need my convenience. I need my fast internet 24/7 like I always have. So I'm going to pay an arm and a leg for it, and I can have it and I can carry on the way that I was living my life. But stagnation kills, guys. It's very important to change your routine, to change your way. Well, at least for people like me, right? And I had never intended to live in Palm Springs as long as I did. And I've been here forever, right? Oops, I just smacked the microphone. And so I think this is my way and the universe's way of saying, you are doing the one thing that you dread, and that is stagnate. So it's time to change that. And it's going to be a slow process, but it's starting. There's going to be a huge shift in my life within the next couple of years. I feel it. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to be this crazy hermit out in the middle of the desert somewhere who ventures into the city like once a month to grab her coffee and work, you know? I don't know, guys, but I'm excited. And for the first time all year, I felt excited about something. I love to work. I'm always excited about my work and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm just, new good things are happening. So enough about that. Jesus, we went on a whole rant, right? It's not really a rant. I'm spilling my guts to you all. I haven't really been connecting with you all on YouTube all year. I think I've said this before. It's really important, even for my hermity ass, to connect with my audience, because as I was saying, the more comfortable I'm getting with detaching, because here's the thing, most of my life I've always lived detached from I hate saying this because I never like to be, I'm so unique, I'm so quirky. No, some of us are just born off, right? And I'm one of those people. And the more I become comfortable with being detached, the easier it is to reject everything. Because for most of my life, I learned, I've always been an outlier. I've always been on the fringe, right? But it was always uncomfortable. Like I hated it. It was a chore. And gradually, being out in the desert has slowly, molasses slow, but it has happened. I've learned how to be comfortable with being an outlier, I feel like everything became easier during COVID, because it was like, you know what? I'm forced to completely be on my own, and it freed up the breathing room for me to say, you know what? All of the shit that I hate, working for other people, answering to other people, making nice with strangers because I don't want to make them feel bad, I don't have to deal with that shit. Quit my job, started working for myself. People, if I don't feel like saying hello to you on the street, neighbors, I'm just going to keep on walking. I don't care if it makes you feel bad. You know what I mean? I have to protect my energy. And I've been becoming much better at that, thanks to the isolation of the desert. And through all of that, obviously, I've been here with you guys. You guys have come with me on my journey. Whether or not I express these feelings or not is another story. I know I've given you guys glimpses into my life over the years, but the more that I've been able to delve into my creativity, the more that I've been able to explore my passions, the more I'm like, the only people that really matter to me in this world are the people who are on board with what I'm doing. Whether you're watching my video, if you buy my books, if you collect my stickers, if you follow me on Instagram and you throw me a like on my pictures, that community is very, very important. It's all that matters. Why would I care about my neighbor down the street that I don't talk to? Why should I concern myself with spending 5 minutes hearing about their BS adult problems that they've put upon themselves, you know, oh my God, you know, I had to fix a hole in my expensive fence because, my neighbor has a beautiful fence. So I decided to renovate my house and get a better fence. And now I have to pay for it. And now I'm stressed out. I don't care about that. You know what I care about? Spending those 5-10 minutes packaging orders. I would rather use those 5 or 10 minutes designing a new sticker, right? For the people who effing matter. So thank you, everyone who's ordered, my Patreon patrons. If you're subscribed to this channel, thank you all for being here. I'm going to get into a conversation about parasocial relationships one day because I don't like the idea that parasocial relationships people are looking down on audiences forming relationships with the people they admire. Some people don't deserve it. They don't deserve the admiration. They don't deserve the respect. But there are, I think, a lot of creatives out there who at our core really truly care about our audience. I mean, if we didn't, why the hell would we be here? You know what I mean? And so I need to discuss that because I've had a couple of people leave me little comments and saying, hey, I don't want to sound weird. I don't want to sound like a weird internet stalker. I don't want to sound like we have this weird parasocial relationship, but I just wanted to say you helped me with X, Y, and Z. You know, you helped me out of my depression. You helped me out of... I don't want my audience to feel weird when they say stuff like that. No, I don't appreciate stalkers. You know, there's a reason I have P.O. boxes. There's a reason I do all that because I've had issues in the past, okay? But for the most part, as a creative who doesn't fit in, who never has, I don't want my audience to feel like they don't have a home here. Like, this freak show is for my people and for my people only, okay? Case in point, see this? This, like, special edition sticker? This Glam Noir cover girl, she's the cover girl to my coloring book, by the way. My Patreon Sticky Claws received a special edition version of this sticker. It's a sticker scene, right? And then the die cut sticker. What you saw just a moment ago was the holographic versions. The holographic versions went out to my Patreon Sticky Claws, and these versions here will be available for everyone in my shop. So the sticker scene will only be available as part of the bundle of the coloring book, but the die cut will be available separately in my shop to purchase. So if that is not available yet, by the time this video is up, it will be available soon. And because I'm in my weird kind of extended YouTube hiatus period still, if you do not have an Instagram, don't worry about it. But if you do have an Instagram, follow me over there because I do post announcements. Now, unfortunately, on Instagram, you have to stay a little bit more on top of following your favorites. You don't have to check into my page every day, but if you would like me to show up on your feed with any frequency, and the same goes for YouTube actually, throw a like on the video, throw a comment really quick, even if it's just a couple of emojis and a hello, because that triggers the algorithms into showing you guys my content. So if you want more frequent updates, you don't have to check into my pages every day, but just, on my content, post a like, post a thumbs up, and then YouTube and Instagram will show you my my content more often. And speaking about loving up on you guys, look what I'm bringing back. If you've been with me forever, there was a period in time when I played with putting thank you cards in orders, and I stopped doing it. And the reason I stopped doing it is because I felt like I just felt as though it was almost disingenuous, because even though I was sending out thank you cards and I appreciated everybody and it felt right, I just thought, maybe my audience thinks this is weird. Every time they order something, they're going to get the same little thank you card, and who appreciates thank you cards? But in recent months, when I order things from small businesses, I appreciate a thank you card. Even if it just says thanks and my name, or, they scribble a little something on my receipt or whatever. It's just a nice touch to remind me that, hey, a human being, or alien, vampire, it doesn't matter. I was going to say another living being, but they could be undead, whatever. Another physical, non-robot packed this order, pulled the items for the order, packed the order, and sent it off to me. Okay, whether it's the creator themselves or someone who works for them, it doesn't matter. It's that little extra touch that I like. And now that I have this fancy new printer that prints beautifully, me, control freak, we're going to mention that again because you know I'm a workaholic control freak. I decided to make my own thank you cards and bring them back. And they are nothing fancy. They are simply a piece of paper that you can toss into your recycle bin after you open your package. But I just like writing thank you, or rather, I like writing your name on the order. It takes a couple of seconds to do it. And it's those couple of seconds that truly make a difference. When the baristas at the coffee shops that I go to draw little, vampire wings or little stars or whatnot on my cups, it's that stupid little personalization that makes me look at that cup for, the next couple hours that I'm drinking it going, aw, and I want to be that. I want to be that for you guys again. Even though it might be, dumb, it's just a piece of paper that says thank you on it. But it's something dumb that I like. You all know I'm a lover of dumb, cute things. So, anyway, all of that to say, the thank you cards are back. And I hate this guillotine cutter. I bought this new guillotine. My old one bit the dust, and it was an amazing guillotine cutter, by the way. This one sucks. But, yeah. I need a new guillotine cutter. I will be getting one of those eventually. Another expensive one. But I will. But yes, thank you cards are back. And this is going to segue into conversations about my packaging, guys, because I'm struggling hard with my packaging. I have finally resigned myself to the fact that I will never, ever, ever, ever find anything in the shades of purple that I need. I've told you guys ad nauseum, okay, that the purple that represents my brand is, if you look at the video, my little thank you cards, right where my logo is, where the K and the M are, there's like an eggplanty warm purple. That is the color that is supposed to best represent my brand, but it's impossible. It's impossible to find envelopes that color, tissue paper that color. Cooler purples are everywhere. It's easy to find. Pastel purples, lavenders, lilacs, all over the place. For whatever goddamn reason, fuchsia and this eggplanty purple, which are my favorite colors of life, right? Bright magenta, neon fuchsia, eggplant purple, my favorites. But they're impossible, okay? So my packaging is undergoing a very awkward growth phase because I have decided to not only stop with the tissue paper, because I have found some bags. By some miracle, I have found some bags that are purple. Okay, not exactly the shade of purple that I want. They're more of a cool leaning purple. But I'm switching to bags for packaging artwork. And instead of tissue paper, it's just quicker, easier, and cleaner. And cleaner as in it's just there's less cutting to do, no folding, that sort of thing. Just dump my items into the bag, seal it, and it just looks so much more professional. And my envelopes. I have purchased some, I suppose they're more lilac than lavender, some lilac rigid mailers when people order art prints. And with stickers, I'm using purple envelopes still. But these envelopes that you are seeing, this right here is for the Patreon sticky clubs. And if you watched my previous vlog, if you've been following the saga that was these envelopes, or that has been these envelopes, you know, I will be rid of these envelopes within the next couple of months. I'm not reordering this color again. I think I'm going to move to black. I know, that sounds nuts, but we're talking about my packaging here, and that is a huge issue with me, is the purple. So all of this to say, I know, it's just packaging, Karla. Why do you care? Well, no, it's very important. It's very important. I am very driven by aesthetics. I am an artist, illustrator, graphic designer, fashion curator for my boutique. Like, I'm all the things, right? I need things to look good. I don't care how anyone else lives. I don't care how anyone else, packages their stuff for their brands. Everybody can do what they want. If they want to put everything in a piece of white tissue paper and put it in a craft paper envelope, that's fine. Me, it's got to be purple and pink. It's gotta. But I've had to find workarounds because, damn it, I will not adapt. I will not change my brand colors simply to match the packaging that is available. Hell no. Have we not been listening? Did we not listen to the rant at the very beginning? I do what I want, even if it's the most difficult road, okay? I stick to it. I stick to my guns and I do what I want. And eventually I do come to a solution. And then I sit there take a big sigh of relief, sip my coffee, sip my tea, and go, you know what? Yeah, I'm glad I was a stubborn ass. I'm glad that I stuck to my guns because I'm happy now and I didn't have to conform to the easy stuff. I didn't have to conform to the easy way out because that never feels good. It never feels good. Cliche, cliche, cliche. Nothing worth doing, nothing worth having is easy, and it's true. So anyway, my packaging is going to undergo an evolution. We might do eventually, we're going to give the light purple envelopes a try, but we might do black, purple, and fuchsia. We shall see, we shall see, we shall see. So thank you to everyone who placed an order, and I keep rubbing up on the microphone. I'm sorry. I have a new spinny chair. I purchased a new spinny chair for my computer desk, and hello, which adult does not have a spinny chair that doesn't spin around? And I'm spinning around on it right now. I don't feel very good. I told you, she's a crampy, fatiguey mess, okay? I am being a frump monster as well. I'm sitting here with my comfortable pants, my leggings, my oversized sweater, my cup of coffee with a handful of marshmallows in it, and I'm spinning around in my spinny chair with no makeup on and my hair all disheveled. You can't see that. You will never see me in that state, okay? Because I've told you before, I think it's disrespectful for me to show up on my videos, in my photos, looking a hot mess. Baby, you can do you. You can be as raggedy as you'd like, but me, I told you, I'm a vain creature. I don't want you to see me like this. It's disrespectful. I don't want to spook you that way. So thank you to my Patreon Sticky Claw members. These letters have long been mailed out to you. I know you guys have already received them, most of you, by the time this video goes up. But thank you. If you are thinking about joining the Sticky Claw Sticker Club, I have to tell you, I am unwavering when it comes to my Patreon, meaning that I like exclusivity, and I don't believe in bending over backwards for people if the situation does not merit it, right? You know, I don't believe the customer is always right. You eat the entire pint of ice cream and then you return it and you say it was disgusting, right? I'm not for that. And I think there's a culture that because you can treat large businesses that way, that small businesses and small creators are to be treated that way as well. The customer is always right. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. What I'm getting at is I have a couple of tiers on my Patreon that people pay for. Well, all of my tiers are paid, right? I have the Love Bite tier, which is the lowest tier. That's the tier for people who don't really care about Patreon. They don't want to check in at all. They don't care about participating very much, if at all. It's just like a tip jar. Like you leave your tip jar or you leave the tip for your barista, you walk out the door, you may or may not ever see them again, right? Or every time you go into the coffee shop, you leave a tip and you go on your merry way. That's what the Love Bites is for. It's just a tip jar. But I have the Color Fiend tier, and that is for the people who wish to have customized, or rather the custom exclusive artwork for Patreon to color each and every month. And those people also get production credits on my videos, and I bring the Color Fiends into voting, you know, certain artwork that I'm creating, help me ideate the design, help me vote on things. They get sneak peeks in to my coloring books and such like that. And recently I came up with, of course, the Sticky Claw Sticker Club tier. And that is, you know, you pay a certain amount per month and I send out exclusive stickers every month. And when it comes to the exclusivity, and this is where I'm saying that this is where I have to be a stickler about this. Since I started the Color Fiend tier, what I do is I release the coloring page for the month. And I usually keep the coloring pages up for about 2 months. A little late, right? I want to give everybody a chance to download the page. But once that month is over, I delete the artwork. Okay, now things come up. If somebody misses the download, they forget, they're busy, that's fine. I'll resend it to you, right? I will resend it if that person was a Patreon patron during the month that I released that artwork. I don't believe it's fair for someone to come into the fold and then say, hey, I just became a patron. Now can I have every single page that you ever created? I don't think that's fair. And it's not because I don't want to provide for my patrons, but it's that there are rules for the tiers. You know, somebody's a patron for this month, this is what they're going to get, and it is exclusive to them. And I don't want to break that. I do not want to break that exclusivity. Excuse me, let me get I'm feeling air bubbly burpy again. And so the same goes for the sticker club. Because what's happening is the sticker club was always meant to be, yes, exclusive, but I change what I send to people every month. Sometimes it's going to be a sticker sheet. Sometimes it's going to be a couple of die cuts. Sometimes it's going to be a sticker sheet and a die cut. And this month, because it overlapped with the release of my coloring book, Glam Noir, I sent people a healthy little package. They got 2 sticker sheets, 2 die cuts. It was amazing. And that is for this month only. So if somebody joins next month and says, hey, I saw, the big beautiful bundle that you sent out to the Color Fiends last month, can I also get that? I'm not going to do that. Again, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's exclusivity, right? I'm sure most of you understand, but I think, again, we live in a world where everybody thinks that they can get whatever they want simply by asking. And I don't think that's cool. And I'm not trying to be an asshole here. It's that because I'm so incredibly grateful for the people who go out of their way to support me on another platform, I have to give them special treatment. I have to, right? And that's one way for me to do it. If that upsets some people, if it offends some people, that is not my problem. And again, this is what I was saying earlier, the way that I feel about other people's feelings is completely within my control. And if they're supporters of mine, I have to treat you. I have to put you on a pedestal because that's where you deserve to be. But at the same time, I can't have new people coming in and kind of undercutting the people who were here before. If somebody was subscribed 1 month and they got all the goodies, it's because they were dedicated enough to be subscribed that month. Someone else is not going to come in and just say, hey, I just showed up. Can I have this? And then disappear. You get it? Okay. I hope I'm not coming across as, some big monstrous bitch. I think you guys are getting the gist of what I'm saying. I love all of you, but there's got to be a little bit of a, hand slap, a little, hey, I'm not Amazon, I'm not Walmarsha, respect not only me, but especially my other patrons, right? That kind of thing. So that's that on that. I think, let's see, is there anything else I need to talk about? We did the new prints at the beginning of the video. I briefly discussed the new stickers. Let's see, the thank you cards, order packaging, the sticky claws. I think we're good. I think we are good for this vlog. So I'm going to, let me double check. Yes, indeed, we are good to go. So thank you all for sitting through this slightly longer than usual vlog. They're always about 30-40 minutes, right? So it's not that much longer, but thank you for being here. Again, I will be taking a break for the rest of the year. I will be uploading videos still. I'm probably going to put another couple of vlogs up here, but I'm not sure if there are going to be any sketchy Saturdays or color and chats. Never say never. Kind of playing it by ear, but you will see me again on YouTube a handful of times before the year is over. But yeah, your girl just has to figure some stuff out. I'm evolution and growth is a bumpy road. And now that I've been giving myself some grace, and now that things have transpired in such a way where I'm forced to have a little bit more time because I don't have the internet at my disposal the way that I did. It's been a blessing though, truly it has been. Now that I am in that circumstance, it's just time. It's time to change things up. It's time to shake things up. And yeah, I had to look myself in the mirror and say, you know what, girl, you are absolutely becoming the thing that you hate the most. Stagnant and predictable. I was so comfortable, even though I hated where I lived. I hated it. It was fine for a handful of years, but then new management, safety issues, it was just a mess, right? But I was steadfast in my routines. I would wake up at a certain hour. I would do X, Y, and Z during the day, go out for my walk at the same time. I would sit down to film every day, and it was just clockwork, right? And this is scary to say, but it was almost like clock in, clock out, right? And that's The clock in, clock out life is not for your girl. Okay. And I was putting myself in that bubble. And that's not to say that I was feeling burnt out or anything. As a creative, I don't believe in burnout. How could I be burnt out being myself? I am this manic hamster. I love what I do, but I was losing myself. I was losing my essence in that routine, and it's time to regain that, right? But it's going to be difficult coaxing that monster back out, but it will happen. I think what I needed to do is I needed to just kind of fall, hit the ground, and take a breather before I climb back up, right? If that makes any sense. I know this sounds very doom and gloom, and I've been telling you guys, this year has been rough. It has not been great, but it has not rendered me useless, and it has not, turned me into this victim. I am not, and this is not to discount anybody who's suffering from depression. I mean, look, I feel for you. I do. But that is not my path. I thankfully don't have to deal with any of that. I mean, yes, we all, to some degree, suffer from some kind of, some sort of maybe periodic periods of depression, low-level anxieties, things that we all have something, right? Nobody's perfect. But as a whole, that sort of stuff doesn't control my life, thank God. But because I have been forced to deal with some difficult things, it has opened up so many positive new avenues for exploration and change. It's just growing pains, baby. I'm okay with all of this. Dealing with hard stuff is never fun, but you know what? It is absolutely necessary. And this is one reason why I know videos like this are probably very like, oh, okay, the violin. I hope I don't come across as being a whiner, because that's not what I'm doing. But the overarching message here is you can either be a victim of society who says when things are going rough, you're supposed to roll into a ball and cry and then go back to work on Monday and earn that paycheck. Or you can forge your own path and you can learn how to deal with things in a healthier way. And by healthy, it's a healthy way for you, not for what everyone else thinks you should be doing, but for you. Get it? Do you. I know this sounds very selfish, but here's the thing. You get one life. Your life. You are not beholden to anyone else. And for any reason. I've known this for a long time. I've lived my life that way. And it's just becoming more clear. Growth. That's all. We're good with it. We just got to be patient. And this is why it's difficult for me. Because the manic hamster is forced to slow down. She's forced to think a little bit more about things. She's forced to change her routine because of what X, Y, and Z. Now the whole internet thing. But it's a blessing, Instead of pouting about it, I looked at it from a different angle. We're reevaluating. We're changing. We're good. We're going to ship these packages. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me on this vlog. Will I ever be on camera? Will my face ever be on camera again? Yes, I will sit down and chit chat to you guys in a future vlog. I just don't care right now because I have been filming at odd hours of the night when I'm not dressed, when it's too dark in here, when it's X, Y, and Z. But yeah, we'll be back. If you really want to see me that bad, go to my Instagram. Thank you everyone for being here. This was a long and chatty, but much needed. Sometimes I have to speak out loud. I have to hear myself think, right? And I appreciate that you are here to listen. And I hope that I help some people with anything, any advice, any inspiration, whatever. Thank you for being here. Be bad, be good. I don't really give a damn which. Just make sure you come back in one piece. And I will see you in the next one. Links down below. My shop, my Patreon, my Instagram. All right. Shoo.